Hello, my name is Chris Bennett, and if you are watching this video, welcome to the team for season 2024 to 25. Over the course of this document, we will overview our standards and expectations based on what we want to do in possession, while we're defending, and in transition. The first part of our document will be possession. Our possession comes with the following ground rules. On your left of all of these slides, you will see a field with lanes and levels along with formations that we're talking about. So possession, the ground rules will be, we'll build the most successful possession-oriented attacking team based on the personnel available on the team. The starting shape will be a 4-3-3. The rules of possession will be, we are to maintain 2 vertical and 2 lateral diamonds in all phases of play. We will never skip a lane or a level. We will always want to be on the ball. No square balls at all, and no long balls at all. To offer clarity, our lanes are 1 through 5, and our levels are A through F. So let's talk about maintaining diamonds. Our vertical diamonds will be known as TD and BD. TD standing for top diamond, BD standing for bottom diamond. The players involved in the top diamond are your centre forward, your left and right attacking centre mid, and your defensive centre mid. The players involved in the bottom diamond are the defensive centre mid, the left and right centre backs, and our goalkeeper. Our lateral diamonds will be LD and RD for left diamond and right diamond. Players involved in the left diamond will be the left attacking centre mid, the left back, the defensive centre mid, and the left centre back. And the right diamond, RD, players involved will be the right attacking centre mid, the right back, the defensive centre mid, and the right centre back. In total, there are 5 players that are inter-diamond players. They are your left and right attacking centre mids, your defensive centre mid, and your left and right centre backs. And 1 player is involved in every possession diamond, and that is your defensive centre mid. There is a available pass per position, and these are to help reduce the pressure and stress on the position that you find yourself playing and make us more automated and assist in our decision making. Our goalkeeper will always have 2 passes, left and right centre back will always have 3 passes, the left and right back will always have 2 passes, with an emergency reset to goalkeeper if needed. Our defensive centre mid will have the most passes, and that's 4. The left and right centre mid will have 3, plus a final 3rd through ball to our wingers. The centre forward will have 2 passes, and our wingers will have 0 passes. The next section on how we play in regards to possession will be our positional responsibilities. This slide is talking about our goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper firstly should be constantly talking. Regardless of the phase of play, our goalkeeper sees everything. We should always be looking to give direction if we're a goalkeeper while we're in possession, and use the reference to our diamonds. So we could use a name, tell them to play left, right, top, bottom. Everything should always be communicated specifically. And if you use somebody's name, that means you're being direct to them and not generalizing your statements. As well as that, the goalkeeper is involved in the bottom diamond and should be willing and ready to play with their feet at any and all phases of the game. They should also realise their 2 passes, which are to the left and right centre backs, so they always know which centre back is the best option and helping them by guiding them onto their next pass. This slide is about our defensive centre mid, and I cannot emphasise this enough, that without consistent and effective defensive centre mid play, we will not be the dominant team on the field. The defensive centre mid has to always scan. It's regardless of the phase of play. They've got to be permanently prepared, not reactive. There can be no excuses for this. And this will be the highest pressured position in our team. Our defensive centre mid should aim to have the following: high game intelligence, the lowest turnover percentage on the team, even though they're playing the highest turnover position. Should be able to play 1-2 touch soccer. Communicate as they're an active member of every possessive diamond. They should have strong, if not the strongest mentality on the team, because they will be held accountable to their consistency, their drive, and being solution orientated always. This will be the hardest position to play for me, and it will also be what dictates predominantly a successful season. They will most likely find themselves as a captain. Moving on to our left and right attacking centre mids, they will be held in high responsibility, and the majority of the final penetrative passing will come from the attacking centre mids into the centre forward or the wingers. To be successful in this, they'll need to know where the oncoming pressure from the opponents are coming from, have strong consistency with their half turn, and know when to play the ball into the final third and know when to keep it within our possessive diamonds. Turnovers cannot be an excuse here. It is something that we must be able to read. They're also active members of 3 of our possessive diamonds, so they, like all the other players involved, must be able to play 1 to 2 touch soccer, realize the importance of keeping the ball and maintaining their central position in possession will be vital to our ability to build through the levels and lanes. Wingers are going to be a very unique position for our team this coming season, as they are not going to be involved in our possessive play. Wingers, however, carry their own sets of rules. They must keep width, their starting position that is, and in every phase of play. Their first priority is to make runs in behind, and if they're not successful with receiving the ball, then they're to reload and repeat. They're to get in the box using invert and runs, and always play the last man to make sure that they're staying on side. Wingers are going to have a tough job this year because they're probably not going to see the ball a lot in comparison to some of the central players, but they must keep their runs going all game long. If they do, there's a high likelihood that our wingers this season will be competing to be the top goal scorer. The following slides is our possession phases of play. I'm not going to read over each phase of play of what's expected. You can pause and go through them and see the adjustments based on where we are, but I will highlight some key points as we go. These phases of play are based on ideal situations, but soccer isn't often ideal, so we have to be willing to be flexible but while maintaining possession ground rules. Phase 1 is the lowest to our half, and we're always looking to play through the opposition's press, and we can do this with clear communication, automated passing, and recognition of when and where the opponent's pressure is coming from. Phase 2, I want you to look at the example. We have our right centre back in possession of the ball, and if we're going to stick to our rules of never skipping lanes or levels, you can read there the options that they have. Our right centre back can either play the right back in lane 5 level D, the defensive centre mid in lane 3 level D, or the goalkeeper in lane 3 level F. These are all within the parameters of sticking with our possession ground rules, and all are able to continue the build-up phase of our game. Phase 3 should be noted. We are now central in the field in both lanes and levels. We're going to try and keep it central in phase 3, and we're also going to try and play quickly through it. We should be wanting to play 2-touch soccer always, but in this phase, it is essential that 1 to 2-touch soccer is effective and efficient. This is where our wingers can start planning to get in behind, if not already starting making runs, reloading, and going again. Phase 4, we're thinking about scoring through our front 5 of the left wing, centre forward, right wing, left and right attacking centre mids. The attacking centre mids could slip through balls for inverted wing runs, centre forward on the half turn, or drive at the back line and get their shots off themselves. Phase 5, I'm calling it overload, because we should have all of the front 5 inside of the box or in and around the box, and now with the defensive centre mid acting as a relief pivot to help switch the ball out to the other way or to service the ball in. Regardless of what phase of play that we're in, our possessions diamond should never fall apart. Everyone should know their available passes based on their position, and they should find themselves always wanting the ball. These higher phases towards our opponent's final third should not be a green light for us to get too excited or feel like turnovers can be easier excused. Our standards and expectations of making positive decisions in possession will be kept in every single phase. The next part of how we play possession will be how to become press resistant. In this first slide, we're going to have a look at an overview of how we're going to become press resistant with automated plans based on what we are presented with. In order to become press resistant, we need to have recognition of what angle we're being pressed from our opponents, and then we need to attack it. We're going to use the base players of every possessive diamond to pivot in and out of our opposition's press. So just quickly look and identify the base players. The goalkeeper is the base player of the bottom diamond, the left centre back for the left diamond, the right centre back for the right diamond, and the defensive centre mid for the top diamond. They are our foe-based players. In this example, we're being pressed to our left, and the ball is currently in the feet of our left back in the left diamond. Instead of forcing a forward ball and potentially turning over, we're going to use our base player to push our possession onto our right. Our base player in this example is the left centre back. Once played into the base player, we have two options. Option A, shown here by a black arrow, is the base left diamond player can play right and forward into the defensive centre mid based on the defensive centre mid's body shape and movement. If they are clearly open and it is not at risk of a high turnover, we go forward at this point. If the defensive centre mid's in a poor position in this example, we'll go to option B. Option B is our left centre back now playing into the base of the bottom diamond, which is our goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is then the pivot player, and they are to exit right into the right centre back. These rules will apply to every single possession diamond. It doesn't matter where we are, what phase, whether we're left, right, or central. We should always be looking to use our base player to pivot out of pressure. We always are looking to go forward if the player that's ready to receive ahead of us is in good body shape and position. If not, we keep going back using base players, and we can go in and out from the base player until we're able to find our body shape on the half turn to get out of pressure. We should always be aware of our opponent's pressing angles, and this can be done by constantly scanning, the goalkeeper constantly talking because they can see everything, and our defensive centre mid guiding us with the actual play and their positioning. We want everybody to play with as minimal touches as possible, but if we can use 1 to 2 touch soccer as a team, this will make our pivoting out of pressure a lot easier and increase the pace of play. It's going to take a lot of work to get to this point. It's also going to take a lot of effort, and each player will develop their 1 to 2 touch soccer game at different speeds. So just because one person on your team is able to do it right now doesn't mean you won't be able to get there. Moving from possessing into defending now. This is how we will defend. Our defensive shape is going to be a 4-5-1, and here are some key points of it. Our centre forward is going to force and keep our opposition's possession one way, and then once they force them one way, they're going to try and keep them there and play the passing lanes so they can't switch out to the other side. I like to call this building a brick wall, and our midfield is our first row of our brick wall. This midfield line is built from the left wing, left attacking centre mid, defensive centre mid, right attacking centre mid, and the right wing. You are the ball winners. You should high percentage ball winners, and this should happen all across the line. The way that you'll win the ball is looking and making a choice based on the judgment between the distance you are at to the ball. If the ball is too far away, we hold our lines. If the ball comes close enough to you, you then challenge and try and win the ball for us. Going too early leaves gaps. Waiting too late allows them to ping a ball through you. Our defensive line, made up of our traditional back four, is the second row of our brick wall. I like to call this line the cleanup crew. Usually, if the ball gets through, one of your midfielders has at least got a touch on the man of the ball, so it should be coming through in a capacity where you can take a touch and help us get back into our possession patterns almost immediately. Your job is to read the play and make sure you're ready to step onto the ball if it breaks through the midfield line. Always staying together. Our goalkeeper should be constantly talking. They should never shut up. They should be telling us to shift, step, and drop, calling out the gaps in the same line and calling out the distances between the lines. Our midfield and defensive line must move as one. There can be no gaps to exploit, because if we're shifting left and we don't all go at the same pace, they will be able to drill a through ball between the lines. When we shift, it's got to be at the same pace, and the pace will be set by the outside players, the left and right wing and the left and right back. They are the ones leading the shift. Making sure our distances between the lines are just as equally important. We cannot have a deep back line and then a high midfield line and expect the ball not to go in between us. We've got to stay together. We must step and drop as one, and this will be done by connected and communication of when we go, when we stay, when we drop. The responsibility of this will fall into the spine of our team, and they are the goalkeeper, the left and right centre back, the left and right attacking centre mid, and the defensive centre mid. Now that we've looked at our shape in the 4-5-1, the only two variations you will see of it is a low or a mid block. The difference between a low and a mid block for me is referring to how much space we're willing to give up behind our backline and how much space we're willing to give our opponent's backline to play in. Some factors that make these decisions for us is that the pace of our backline versus the pace of the opponent's front line, the consistency of our midfield line winning the ball for us versus our defensive line having to clean up, how direct our opposition plays. Are they permanently hitting long balls, or are they trying to play short, possessive style? Our forwards' ability to establish a line of confrontation and force them one way, and our goalkeeper's ability to play sweeper for us. Let's look at a low block. Here you can see that it's still a 4-5-1, but we are in a low block. If we're in a low block, it's most likely because our opponents have fast forwards or attacking players, and we do not want to give them space behind our back line. To be successful, our forward needs to set our line of confrontation on the halfway line, meaning she's going to start pressing as soon as they reach the halfway line and forcing the ball to one side. After the ball's forced one way, our forwards to sit between the passing lanes to not allow them to get out to the other side. The midfield line should sit 8 to 10 yards behind our centre forwards line of confrontation and should be shifting as one to make sure that we're closing all gaps and finding it very difficult for them to play through us. If they play a through ball or they dribble up, centrally we're going to engage within reason of our physical ability, and then we're going to set, restart if we make them go negative, and go again. The defenders and the goalkeepers that should then be, the defensive line should be 8 to 10 yards behind the mids, and obviously the goalkeeper behind them. The defender's job is to communicate with the man in front, letting them know when they feel the ball is coming, when they feel like they should step and attack, basically guiding the man in front of you, using them as your shield to make sure they win the ball for you. If the ball gets through, you are to clean it up and try to return us to our possession patterns that we discussed earlier in the video and in the playbook. Everybody, again, must move as one. Here, you see that we are in a mid-block. Our shape hasn't changed. It's still a 4-5-1. But the differences here is that we will play in a mid-block is if our midfield line is having a higher ball winning percentage than our opponent's ability to play through us, and our back line is stronger athletically than their front line, meaning we're the quicker of the two lines competing. To be successful in a mid-block, everything I just previously stated in our low block must be done, but here are a couple of adjustments and additions. The forward will now set the line of confrontations 10 yards into our opponent's side, level C in this example. Our midfield still sits 8 to 10 yards behind our centre forward and holding just behind the halfway line. This is top of level D in this example. And our defenders again 8 to 10 behind the mids, bottom of level D, top of level E. The goalkeeper's starting position changes here. They're off their line, inside their box, potentially on top of their box. They've got to be quick off the mark for any overhit balls, willing to play sweeper or allow it to come back in their box so they can collect it. And you'll be able to tell if our midfielders miss their challenge, most likely our goalkeeper's about to have to be active. Finally, I know this has been a long video, so I appreciate your focus. We're going to talk about how we're going to play in transition. Understanding and execution our roles and responsibilities of both our possessive side and our defending side is going to be essential. You must know what you're doing in both attacking and defending. However, it will mean nothing for our competitive season if we're not able to transition at a pace between the two shapes. The pace is not as an individual. It's okay if you get to your position early. If the rest of your team is behind, we as a team are not transitioning quick enough. We must all transition together, and we've got to be able to get in and out of our defensive and possessive shape as quickly as we possibly can, and this will allow us to consistently score goals and defend and keep our clean sheet. In the example you can see here, the black X's are an ideal possessive shape and positions, and the blue X's is a defending shape and positions, a low block in this example. The positions are labeled. For example, you can see LW, left wing, center forward, CF, right wing, RW, etc. This is all ideals, but as I said earlier, ideals are not always where we find ourselves in soccer. What is most important here is the team shape, making sure that we're able to have in possession 2 vertical diamonds and 2 lateral diamonds, and making sure that when we're in a defensive shape, we're in a 4-5-1. So for example, if one of your teammates has overstepped earlier in the game or finds himself out of position, if you can recover to help us keep a strong team shape, that is your responsibility, and you can then do it via communication, saying I've got you, and you rotate positions until we're back into a more settled shape and back in control of the game. It's about finding the holes and filling them, and again, this can be done through communication and hopefully our goalkeeper who can see everything. I know this has turned into somewhat of a long video, and I hope that you go through it and look at it and take as much information as you can. This will be our foundation, the bare bones of our season before we get going, but I wanted to give us every opportunity to understand what is going to be asked of you as we start our season. Obviously, there's no session plans or practice drills or expectations of each individual yet. We will wait till we get into the field for those moments, but as a team, we should now have a certain level of understanding of who we're trying to be and what we're trying to achieve over the course of the next season. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day.